The morning loop begins. Oh, yeah. We don't celebrate days, weeks, months, or years. Taking a page out of John Anderson's book, we celebrate the morning loop, and it starts right now on Mornings in the Lab. Oh, yeah. Y'all wondering what the hell's the morning loop? First thing in the morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time. It's that days have a start and an end. Months have a start and an end. Years have a start and an end. To hell with all that bullshit. We just keep going. Life's a 24-hour cycle, and we do it right here in the lab. We hope you guys get up. We help you say, don't hit the fucking snooze button. We get the energy in your ear. My voice is excited today. I got a 7.5 kilometer run in. Calories are stacked. Habits are stacked. The day has begun. There you go. I'm done. See you guys tomorrow. Hey, 8 o'clock Eastern time. We get the show on the road here. We talk about the loop. We don't talk about days. No. Right, John Anderson? Right, Marty Fit? Oh, the first thing he's got to do, he's got a cough in my ear. What's up, Anderson?
What's going down, brother? Yeah, I don't know what it is. This hot cup of coffee's got me choking this morning.
I'm a little dismayed because I thought you were going to be in Mexico this morning, Mr. Anderson.
No, we're back. I'm back to the Calico house, the Calico Lake house. We're heading down to Mexico probably, next month. My wife's got she's got a seminar she's going to, so we got to be here at this house.
Okay. So for some reason I thought you were off there today for the month or something.
No, we were just we're just in Huntington Beach.
Yes, I know you're visiting some friends down there. I saw, if I may. I saw some celebratory imagery on the internet about Miss Terry Anderson's birthday.
Yeah. And she likes to celebrate it, not one day. She likes to have a number of days of celebration of her birthday.
So why should Terry be any different than my wife? And Marty's your eventual wife. Okay, man, just putting it out there first thing this morning on the show that your wife is going to ask for more than one day of her birthday, right, Johnny?
You know, I think there comes a point where in a man's success where the wife starts to want more than a day, for sure. Early on, when there wasn't a lot of resources, she was pretty good about having a day. Just a day.
So team, I've done a really crappy job this morning. First of all, introducing why the hell we're here today, and I'm excited why we're here today because I was motivated. I picked my workout this morning based on who our guest was. I wasn't really feeling it today, but I'm like, you know what? This dude who's going to come on the show today had no excuses to succeed at what he has succeeded at. So I was like, I got no excuses to go today. We have Jared Gleaton joining us here, Marty. John Anderson. The dude lost 176 pounds. Marty, now that's beyond like double pumps there. That's a whole of me, boys. Like that's like I'm 186, 180, 180 and change. Like Jared lost me.
You gotta get your weight up, man.
Yeah, let's be honest, brother. For a bodybuilder, you're awfully small.
Yeah, I'm in the ancient little man class, Johnny Anderson. I'm choosing my words correctly.
But realistic, I need to give you some credit because bodybuilding is a way of life. It doesn't mean you have to be a bodybuilder on the stage. Bodybuilding is a way of life. Eating right, sleeping right,
absolutely
yada, yada. So yes, you're a bodybuilder, my brother.
That's it. Oh, thank you, Anderson. Oh my God, my September is complete for me now. I've been anointed the honorary bodybuilder, Christopher Martin.
Yo, John, you don't have to be a teddy bear all the time, man.
Well, he's starting. Listen, he's picking up he's getting some of the shit in line. He's got the 24-hour loop. He's got his habits stacked. This is what bodybuilding is about the guy who makes the fewest mistakes.
Dude, I'm paying attention.
Habit stacking keeps your mistakes away.
Yeah. Hey, Marty, where's your microphone, man?
I had some technical difficulties this weekend, man. I gotta I gotta set it up with the app again. I just haven't had time to do it. My computer crashed this weekend, so.
Brother, I had to get a new computer for the same reason, brother. Yeah. Unbelievable.
No buttons today either. So I got to really.
Oh no, Marty. Okay, well then.
Hold on. That means you got to imitate my voice when you because you've been pumping my button lately. So you got to do it. You got to imitate me now.
That's no problem.
Let's hear it. Let's hear the button.
All right, guys. I know it's a holiday, but it's just another day.
I love it.
The holiday doesn't change anything, guys.
That's exceptional. Yeah. What's going on?
You got to put a little bit more gravel in the back of your throat, and you're there.
All right, I got you.
What's going on, little doughboy? Good to have you here this morning. And we got here Yama Sofa. Oh, you lost 150 pounds. Congratulations. That is exceptional. We're here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate good stuff. And of course, we got Good Time here popping in. Good morning, Good Time. Listen, Good Time. You are exceptional, man. You are producer Flynn. I got to bring you up here. You know, Good Time has been exceptionally loyal to our show. You know, if we're going to have like the Loyal Listener Award, we're going to have to put Good Time on there.
I'm in for that.
Good Time's on all of my episodes too.
Good Time is just not even mailing in. Good Time showing up, putting in the reps, just doing it all, man. That's exceptional. Good morning, So Young Park. Good to have you here this morning as well. Boom, boom, boom. I hit the wrong button there, So Young.
Man, I say somebody's got buttons here. Holy Toledo.
Yeah, hopefully tomorrow I should have them.
Producer Flynn, how was your weekend?
It was good. I got some time with the kids. I almost got back on the bike. I'm not there yet. But John, Marty, I don't know if you know this, but I have a Peloton that is just collecting dust up in my house. So I almost got back on the bike, and then I didn't. I decided to do visualizations instead. So we'll work towards that this week.
So I'm going to have John coach you and give you some words to get on that Peloton.
What you got for me, John? Let's hear it.
Well, first thing I would say, honestly, is that no, of course, man. When it comes to this industry, there's no corner that I don't have. You know, you just put it in front of me. I got nothing but solutions, baby. So, home equipment is like the guaranteed way not to train is to buy home equipment, because as soon as you have it it's at your fingertips, it's easy to use. All of a sudden, it becomes much harder to use. So. You just got to remind yourself one simple thing. Ask yourself a question, I should say. Am I like all the other pathetic motherfuckers, excuse my language,
I love it,
who buy this shit and don't use it? Buy this shit and hang clothes on it. Buy this shit and let it collect dust. Don't even have the nuts to dust it off, for Christ's sake. Are you going to be one of those people, Christina with a K?
I'm not going to be one of those people that don't have the nuts to dust it off, because I don't have no nuts. But
I gotta say, Christina,
I like that coaching style.
I gotta say, Christina, you and I say this with love, you have nuts. Let me tell you.
I'll take that.
Yeah, you have nuts. Don't get that turned around. You don't think of nuts as testicles. Nuts is a different type of and you got the
I got it. I got it.
Christina, I think you got that dog in you. Does that make sense? Maybe that's a better term. Okay, all right. She got the dog. She got
dog,
the
nuts, guts, whatever you want to call
it. Okay, starting tomorrow, we're looking for a new producer on the show. Producer Flynn moving off the panel.
Effective immediately. Here's my resignation.
Yo, that is hilarious.
And just so everybody, that statement was not just to Christina. That was for anybody who's got a piece of equipment that's got a goddamn jacket hanging on it as a coat hanger. You know, that's full of dust. Anybody who's got this piece of equipment that's not using it, ask yourself that question.
Yeah, you know, Johnny, let's go there with people that buy home equipment and don't use it, because I think if you can buy the home equipment, Marty, Christina, and actually use it, you're better off than most. And what I mean by that is because you've been able to adopt the discipline, you've been able to get your ass going. You're like, yeah, I'm not using that as a fucking ironing board. I'm not using that as a clothes rack. I am going to own myself. Like, if anything, nation, if you want to go and get yourself out of bed in the morning, go buy some gym equipment to go put it in your bedroom and stare at it.
You're very correct, brother. If you develop the habits to use home equipment, you have put yourself in a very small school of people on this planet who train but can't do it at home.
Yes. John Marty, you've seen my gym. I got a gym here. Now John, I've showed you my setup. It's I used to have a couple thousand square foot rec room downstairs that nobody ever used. I converted into a gym. I now live in a gym with a house on top, We use it all the time. And if you can set up a space that you're comfortable in, there's absolutely no excuse to use your gym gear as a clothing rack. True story.
Absolutely. Well, but remember, brother, you're a bodybuilder, so you're different.
I know. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I got all these mirrors set up. I stare at myself in the mirrors. I see John Anderson on the other side of my nice 180-pound frame. Wondering what would you like to have another 100 pounds on it?
Keith, you got to show John your old pictures, the ICUC pictures.
Yes, I do.
I'm sure John will love those. Keith looked a little different in those pictures, John.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Can't wait to see it.
Just a smidgen.
Looked like he was full of soda.
Oh, are we? Wait a minute. Are we referring to Husky Keith?
Husky Keith. Yeah,
Husky Keith. Yes, yes.
Guy, yeah.
Hey, we are talking today about Jared, who was Husky, who's now no longer Husky.
Brother, my mom used to call me Husky too, so I share your pain. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're not fat, you're just Husky. Come on, Mom.
Oh, I know, Johnny, right? So it was like, oh, but I can't wear those jeans because they didn't fit very good. So I was wearing like the shitty sweatpants and these goofy looking athletic pants. And man, did it ever beat up my self-esteem, John Anderson?
Yep, I've been there.
Yeah.
Was Husky the version of Big Bone?
Oh yeah. I lasted through that era too. Husky to Big Bone. John, you too, probably. Yeah, Big Bone.
What? I was just Husky. I was just called Husky, and I was like, the problem was what it did is it discredited all the other stuff that she told me. Like, you're going to be great. You're going to be this. Well, then you can't call me Husky because we both know I'm fat.
You got to be honest with yourself.
This is true. And now Marty's coined Big Back. So we've gone from Husky to Big Bone to Big Back. The Big Back's a choice. We grow big backs by the food that we eat. That's just the truth.
Yeah, not the bodybuilder big back, John, like the other big back.
No, the big back.
I was connecting those dots pretty quickly, brother.
Yeah. Yes. John was going to interject, like, hold on, I've been trying to get a big back since Japan.
Hey, team, what does it mean when your ears ring after having sex?
It was a good session.
Must have been a lot of hitting.
Hey, I practiced some hit this weekend.
Yo, hold on. You're
all the way hit, or just hit?
Not to Lauren's dismay, Marty.
Hold on, can you guys hear this? Did you hear that?
We can.
Yes,
right.
we can.
That's going to have to be my button for today because
that guy, they look like they all stink. Oh no, we all don't stink. I am sweating a little bit because I just had a run this morning. So but Joggo, hey, what's going on this morning, everyone? And So Young Park, congratulations on using the treadmill last night. That's good. That's deserving of a applause. Yeah, there you go. That's it. It all starts. So I got
it in like 3 months.
I got a teaser, man. She's gonna be on the show on Wednesday. And we all like to tease. That's how we show love here on the show. So she got on the treadmill today because she's going to be on the show on Wednesday. She's like, I got to do something. I got to do something because I'm showing up on Wednesday.
Very nice.
Or else I'm going to get her.
Yeah. So listen. So when we have sex, a lot of things happen to our body. Blood rushes to our genitals. Our heart starts racing. Our breathing quickens. Our muscles contract. But we sometimes sweat in places that don't usually sweat. Well, what also happens is our ears will tend to ring. And Dr. Eric Levy says that the middle ear is a finely tuned piece of engineering, but because the middle ear is a perfect work of art, so to speak, such changes in pressure can manipulate the acoustic properties of sound transmission. So as the blood, John Anderson, within the ears reduces after orgasm, so do the nutrients necessary for it to function properly. Therefore, your ears ring.
Interesting.
Yeah. So what you can do if your ears ring after sex is either his recommendation, stop having sex, give up masturbation, or whatever sexual acts that bring you to orgasm. Because if you don't want to have your ears ring, don't complete your sexual activities.
How bad could it really be with the ears ringing now? Come on, let's do it. Let's put this on the scale. Ears ringing. Having some fun with where does that come on now? We could live with the ears ringing and go have some fun.
I'm telling you, permanent. So this permanent hearing damage as a direct result of sex is extremely rare, but it can have an impact. The condition, Christina, Marty, is called orgasm synesthesia, and according to a study in the Journal of Psychiatry in 2022, 4% of the population struggle with these symptoms after having an orgasm.
I'd have to wonder what those 4%, what other things they struggle with.
Maybe I'm not doing it right. I'm doing something wrong. Maybe that's the top 4%. And me and John aren't in the top 4%.
Every guy's gonna go.
I think they're hypochondriacs.
Honey,
you know?
Honey, can we make my ears ring? Can we make my ears ring, honey? Why are my ears not ringing, honey? Hey, you're tuning into Mornings in the Lab, the first 15 minutes, the start of the show you always want to turn into because you don't know what the hell we're going to say. Coming up in a couple of minutes, we got Jared Gleaton joining us. The guy lost 176 pounds. He lost me. He lost a whole human. Not John Anderson, no. No, has John Anderson and Marty Fit probably, I don't know. But anyways, Jared Gleaton's joining us here in a couple of minutes. The accountability check-in's coming up here in a moment. Johnny West, no, I have not farted in the bathtub recently. Sorry, haven't got there. Brooks Woodard, good to see you here this morning. Good time. Always good to have you here in the comments. And yes, Brooke, Christina is a trooper for handling these guys. She had no idea what she was getting into when I invited her to the squad.
Zero idea.
But she is leading the charge here. She's a beast.
I got a contract, Brooke. I can't afford to be sued right now. So here we are.
Oh, there we go. All right, guys. So let's do this. We're going to go click on over to the accountability check-in. We're going to come back and bring Jared into the lab and going to continue the conversation about how the dude lost 176 pounds. I'm excited about this one. And I think, John, you are going to be as well, because I know you like to work with guys that go through these journeys, and Marty, you as well. So let's do that. Let's do the accountability check-in, come back, and bring Jared into the lab, guys. So let's do this. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. There we go.
Time for a pee.
Time for a pee. Time for a stretch, Marty. Jared's patiently waiting for us. Yeah, Johnny, it is live. It's checking. Johnny, go fart in the bathtub. See what happens. See how many bubbles you can make float. The bubbles will float to the top. Jared's wondering. Or maybe they're underwater bubbles. That could be a hypothesis. Fart underwater and see if the bubbles just stay down there. All right. Boom. Do you help or harm your goals when no one's watching? Do you wonder that? Because here's what I think. Mentors, they guide you. Accountability partners, that's us here in the lab. They can check you in. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to do the work. It's a true story. At the end of the day, it's up to you to do that work. It's in your hands. Whether you're going to look in the mirror and say, I did what I said I would, or I wasted another day again. And you look in the calendar. Damn it, it's September. Around the corner is October. Over there is 2025. No one else is going to feel that success or failure like you can. So, support systems, well, they're going to help you, but they can't carry you. Motivation? The hell is motivation? It's got to come within. That discipline. Because you know what? You have to show up for yourself, especially when no one else is watching. And I know our guest here coming up, Jared Gleaton, he showed up for himself every single day when nobody was watching. And you know what happened? The guy lost 176 pounds. Not one, not two. You're sitting there going, I want to lose 5 pounds today. I want to lose 10 pounds today, but I can't. Oh, I can't. Oh, you can. Jared did. He lost 5 pounds 30 times. Then some. So I invite you, do it. Because someone else is checking. That person's you. There you go. The morning loop. Accountability check-in. Mornings in the lab with myself, Keith Bilous, John Anderson, Christopher Martin, C. Marty Fitz. And our guest here today is the incomparable Jared Gleaton.
Hello.
What's going on, Jared Gleaton?
Oh, I'm just procrastinating before a workout.
There you yeah, oh my goodness, there you go. A little procrastination before the workout, eh? So Jared joins us. He is a man who's redefining the way we think about food. Jared explores the fascinating intersection of food and psychology, bringing a fresh perspective to both fields. From school psychologist to food critic, food critic. I crushed some great Indian food last night, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Jared combines his expertise in human behavior with his love for culinary experiences, making him a unique voice in the food world. He's the author of A Feast for the Senses. His book delves deep into the psychological art of eating well, teaching us how food can nourish not only just the body, but the mind and soul too. He's got a personal transformation after Jared unfortunately lost his father. He lost 176 pounds and used his journey with a food, John and Marty, as a catalyst for personal growth in every aspect of his life.
Bam.
I love this. I love this, guys. Known as Jared Gleaton Eats online, he's built a strong following, his own tribe on YouTube and social media, where he shares his flavorful adventures and insights into the psychological side of dining. Marty, Johnny, let's take a quick second to welcome our friend Jared Gleaton to this morning's Mornings in the Lab.
Jared, what's up, brother?
Hello. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, good to have you here, man. So, dude, just get off the bag here. 176 pounds. Tragedy shows up. Light goes on. You went through a journey. We'll get through that journey. But, man, that is an accomplishment, Jared Gleaton, right off the bat. 176 off the bag. Dude, congratulations, man.
Let's put some context to it. That's in 1 year. 12 months.
Oh, baby.
12 months. That's the key. Once you understand how the body works, and this is there's no magic shot. I didn't use Wegovy. I didn't use a surgery. I didn't use a magic pill. Those things, they're multi-billion-dollar industry. And once you understand how the body works, and you guys know, you can do it and you can see success. And you have to understand how the plateau works because it's a real thing. But as soon as you understand the simple way the body works and processes calories, sky's the limit.
Yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have some fun with this conversation because I can see my two boys are leaning into this one. So Uncle Keith's going to step off the stage for a few minutes. Johnny, Marty, I can see, Johnny, you're going to love this one because I can see everything coming up here is going to be all about what you guys are leaning into. So John, Marty, Jared, let's get into it, man. How did that journey go? You lost 176. Johnny, throw the question to you first, pal.
So it sounds like the catalyst to this whole the start of this was your father passing. Is that correct, brother?
Absolutely. The thing was we formed bonds in childhood, and our family formed bonds through food. And parents divorced, and I went with my father, so that bond was formed even stronger. Unfortunately, during that time, for the first 30 years of my life, there was no such thing as moderation. Eat whatever you like. And when he died, he was worried about my weight. And a lot of people would have used food as a coping mechanism, stress eating, emotional eating. But when I looked down, going to the bathroom, and I could not see certain appendages when I urinated, my feet and other things, that's a problem. And, when you're young, I could sit there and have a gut that hung over and jump and all this stuff. And you're thinking immortality. But when the aches and creaks and pain starts coming into your feet and your knees, things need to happen. And so I used that opportunity to find an inner strength to start a journey.
That's an amazing, I love that, brother. And real quick for listeners. So I just want to point out, number one, he took something that was really, really a tragedy in his life and turned it into something positive. So don't let a good tragedy go to waste in your life because it will give you the power to do something amazing. Now, on that level, I also want to remind you, you don't have to wait for a tragedy to make a change.
Change all starts with you. It starts with you. It starts with, the first thing is you have to identify that you want to make a change. A change won't happen on its own. Sometimes a change, there can be a catalyst. You can see something on TV. You can have a tragedy. But ultimately it comes from within. And that's the most difficult thing because we're trained as Americans early on. If you think about it, we have a culture that, we're very individual. If you tell somebody they're overweight, they're not going to necessarily do anything about it. They're going to become defensive. They have to find that message within themselves. And I was the same way up until age 30. You can't, sometimes it's hard to teach us when everybody around us can see the problem and we can't see the problem. You're not going to be able to help us identify the problem by telling us over and over and over until we're ready to listen to our inner selves. We're not ready to listen to the problem that you're saying we have.
Yeah.
So so Marty, you got a question for Jared?
Yeah.
Go for it, brother.
Yeah. So you mentioned learning the body.
Mm-hmm.
And in America, I know Keith's in Canada and Christine is in Canada. But here in America, there isn't a lot of education on the body or nutrition. So a lot of people don't understand that you can take steps to lose the weight. You don't have to stay like that for the rest of your life. And along with that education comes the mentality. So can you just expound on the education, like what can people do more to get educated, and talk about the mentality that came with the losing 176 pounds?
Absolutely. So the first thing is the education. So we are bombarded by ads for this and that, this weight loss, that weight loss. But what is lost in translation is me sitting here right now, I am burning calories. If you can figure out your basal metabolic rate and realize in a 24-hour period, and your basal metabolic rate is calculated by your age, your current weight, which is supremely important, your gender or your sex. And once you can figure that out, you know how many calories your body takes in a day if you just sit there and do nothing. Once you have that baseline, it's a mathematical formula. If you cut out 500 calories, you're going to burn in 7 days 1 pound of fat because you're putting your body in a calorie deficit. Calories in, calories out.
Forgive me for jumping in. So you did all of this with a calorie deficit methodology. Is that correct?
Well, that's ultimately all it is any diet from Slim Fast to Wegovy. If you think about the big semaglutide, Ozempic, what is it doing? It is a appetite suppressant, right? If you're suppressing your appetite, you're not eating as many calories. And so if your body requires X amount of calories, and that's scientifically proven, your body burns calories. If you deny your body calories, it's going to use the stored fat to function the rest of the day. We forget that. We don't talk about that. Once you understand that your body is a battery, essentially, that stores the energy or it uses the energy, the rest is gravy.
So, because we're basically, what you're discussing is it's been around. That philosophy's been around forever. We all know it
absolutely
works. But there's no question you're going to have to suffer a little bit, and I commend you for suffering for a year to get that done. But just like there was a time on this planet we all knew for a fact the world was flat, we know better than that now. Well, now we also know that there's another way. We won't call it better, but a different way to lose that body fat, which is stimulating the metabolism. Because I coach people all the time, and I will get them to drop 100 pounds, and they look at the plan I'm giving. They're like, if I eat all this, I'm going to get alarmingly fat. I'm going to get fatter. I'm going to say no. You just give me 3 days, and as I start to feed, I mean, it's not as simple as just eating more. There's a lot of things that has to be done, timing the foods and all this kind of stuff, but by stimulating the metabolism, like number one rule I give to people under my wing, losing body fat, you can never be hungry. And because by being hungry, you're slowing down that metabolism. We want to feed that metabolism to speed up, because as it gets bigger, the requirement for nutrients becomes greater. And ultimately the body will get rid of body fat through stimulating the metabolism. The good part about that methodology is you don't lose muscle in the process if you do it right. So I guess I'm just wanting to point out to our listeners that, if you got 100 pounds to lose, there's more than one way to go about this. You can choose you can go the way that Jared did, have that discipline to be in a deficit for a year and get the job done, or you can learn to feed in a way that will stimulate our metabolism, which will get the same job done, but you don't have to suffer to do it.
Absolutely. And are you also recommending exercise along with feeding the and stimulating the metabolism?
I mean, I recommend exercise no matter what. A lot of times people don't want to exercise, and I can pull that fat off them without the exercise by the metabolism. But exercise needs to be a part of our lives, irregardless if we're trying to lose weight or not.
Absolutely. And I'm not disagreeing. I absolutely wholeheartedly disagree. And it goes back to the point of it just getting that basal metabolic rate. The way you're doing it is you're still burning more calories than the body uses in a day. So while it's not a traditional deficit where you're just not eating it, you're still putting your body in a deficit by burning more than it requires to use. And I love that. There's more than one way to do this. Absolutely.
Yes. And for those that love to eat, just realize you can stimulate the metabolism to get that requirement up by eating, because most of us love to eat. I mean, shit, I'm a victim of loving to eat, and I'll call myself a victim of that. I don't play the victim often, but I'm a victim of loving to eat for sure.
And I wasn't, at first I was hungry, but there was other things I did. I looked at the satiety index to figure out what foods will fill you up that I enjoyed. And another thing that I really realized, and this is the key to weight loss, and it goes back to the whole mentality of people. If you try and say and deny them their carnal pleasures, it's going to be a failure. You have to meet people where they're at. So I always say, if you enjoy those bag of Skittles, maybe have a handful of Skittles, because you're still reducing and trying to control how much you're taking in. And as soon as you can do that, you can still have those little pleasures instead of denying yourself. Because a lot of people, if they want to try and cut all the bad things out, they're not going to have the willpower or the inner strength to do that. It takes a while to form a habit. So if you start really modifying what you're eating, but still enjoying those once in a while, or those things within your calories, it's possible. And you're meeting people where they're at. And that's so important.
Quick question. So I'm sorry to keep hogging up the stage here, but this is good stuff.
This is awesome. Let's keep going.
So you had mentioned that the feed the metabolism also keeps you in a calorie deficit. So I guess the question, because I'll be honest, my opinion is different than that. How would you say it works when someone feeds the metabolism, they're losing body fat, but they're gaining muscle? Because the body's not going to gain muscle, it's in a deficit.
Well, so if you're gaining muscle, that also fuels the fat. And so that's one thing that, it might be good to try and figure out your body fat percentage, or find a tool so you can see, is it being replaced with muscle? Because like you said, this method adds muscle. And that's where a BMR, and this is some of the drawbacks. I mean, nothing is perfect. This is some of the drawbacks of the calculators. What is that index that we love to say people are obese on? The body mass index, BMI. And what if you're 5'11" and you have 0 or 5% body fat, and yet you're 210 pounds because you're solid muscle? Well, according to that index, you're overweight. So there, you do have to make sure that you are figuring out how much of that is fat through some methodology or some sort, because that's important as well.
Hey, great conversation coming here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith Bilous, C. Marty Fit, and John Anderson. You're dropping at the hour 8:30 Eastern time. You're going to come up with the C. Marty Fit tip in just a quick second. Jared Gleaton joined us, lost 176 pounds. I got some great comments coming in on the side here. We got Conky Fedora. I ate 20,000 calories a day. Real deal. Good morning, Real Deal. Real Deal is all about the weight gain. Counting calories is not how to lose weight. 4.8% body fat during those wrestling days is what Real Deal Prime comes in with. Some chicken and rice. More muscle equals more burn fat, and Real Deal is 6.1 low body fat, baby. So listen, here's what I find interesting about all this, because we all know there's many ways to skin a cat. And what I love about this is that when we talk about losing weight, there's losing weight for losing weight purposes, but there's also this idea of body composition.
Yes.
Right. So, it's really the choice we're making as a human being, whether we want to lose weight. And losing weight means losing body muscle, losing body fat, and changing the composition of your body. You want to look like somebody like John Anderson or Marty Fit, or like an athlete, you're probably not going to want to lose weight. You're probably going to want to build muscle. You're going to want to lose body fat. So while we are not here to make judgment on people's processes, if anything, we're here to celebrate Jared's 176-pound weight loss. That's the 100%. Whole point here. That's the absolute point here. What we do want to emphasize, though, is that there are many ways to achieve the goal. And if your goal is, I want to be an athlete with 3% body fat, well, you're going to have to eat like a motherfucker, and eat and train to get that body fat down. If your goal is to reduce that body fat off your body as you're going through some difficult times like Jared did, then you get that weight off like Jared, and that's exceptional work, man. So again, many ways to skin a cat. It's really how we choose the words, right? Weight loss, body composition. Yes. And John and Marty, we talk about it all the time, and I know you guys do with your clients. The first question is, John, I want to lose weight. And then you say to me, Keith, do you want to lose weight, or do you want to become leaner? What's your goal, Keith? Do you want body? Is it about aesthetics for you? Let's lean into that for a quick second, John and Marty, before we go to the fit check-in. John, you first.
Yeah, I would say for the most part, when someone comes on board with me, I have them fill out a questionnaire, so I really understand what they're trying to get at. And many times people will say, I want to gain muscle and lose body fat. Boom, very simple. A lot of times people say, I want to lose weight. I'll ask them, do you just want to lose weight or do you want to lose body fat? And most people in their minds, they want to lose the body fat, but they're not really up to speed with the terminology. And so there is a really, to your credit, Keith, there's a big difference between do you want to recomp or do you just want to lose weight? Because if you just want to lose weight, like if the number on the scale is your thing, you're going to lose fat and muscle. And you really, as to Jared's credit, you calculate some numbers, you figure out how little you need to eat, and you suffer through it. The flip side of the equation, and that's most of my clientele. Most of my clients, they see me, they're like, okay, he's big and he's lean. I want to learn how to do that. Now, how big and how lean they want to get is up to them, but I show them the path that allows them to get as deep down there as they want to. So I love the fact you just pointed out the difference of that, Keith, because I think the listeners need to understand that.
Yeah, I'll add this in quickly too. I train a lot of women, and they will, they more than likely they want to lose body fat. They want to look good when they put the dress on, put the clothes on, and people don't realize you can be a skinnier, fat version of yourself.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't realize that. Yeah, exactly. So you can want to get rid of your belly and lose 10 pounds and still have the belly. So building muscle is definitely important, and increasing that metabolism is important. So I think fat loss is king over every other method. Just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Exceptional. Hey, we're going to hit to the fit tip here, but I want to make a quick couple of acknowledgments here. We have Kamago Ramaruka joining us from South Africa. Thanks for joining us here, Kamago, or Kamagalo. I apologize. I'm doing the best I can to say your name, and I apologize for that. Thanks for joining us this morning. That is exceptional. You hanging out with us here this morning. And then as well as Paula Diedrich, you found this channel. You're loving it. Thank you. We wake up every single day looking to inspire, motivate, give people a reason to not hit the snooze button. We bring on guests like Jared Gleaton, guy who lost 176 pounds in 1 year. Yeah, the guy woke up one day and was like, I got to make some changes. And many of you tuning in right now are thinking about you're considering, you're thinking about making changes. Well, Jared did. And the results were 176 pounds less a year later. No excuses. We had a guy on last week, John and Marty, lost his arm in combat. And what did he do, John? Did he sit around and cry?
He was a freaking savage is what he was. He got better. He looked at that arm. Losing his arm was the best thing ever happened to him. And I love that about that guy.
Exactly. So that's what we do here in the lab. We meet people, we bring them onto the show to inspire you to get your asses out of bed, gentlemen, and get going. We build business athletes, whether you're an athlete looking to get yourself into business or you're a business guy looking to up that level of athletics in your life. That's what we do here in the lab. So listen, we're going to go over to the C Marty Fit Tip. Marty, you ready for that, brother?
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's do it, pal. All right.
We doing shades or no shades?
We'll do shades, man. Bro, the shades on.
I was wondering what's up, dude.
Listen, the shades were going on if you said no shades.
So we know
things are going on, Keith.
We know things are good here because Good Times now got the clock on us. So C Marty hit the snooze yesterday. He was 9 minutes late. All right, Good Time, you got him.
No, that's not what happened. Good Time, don't do that.
That's the host's fault. There we go. Here we go.
No,
boom.
don't do that.
No, it's this one here. All right, boys. Johnny, go for a pee. Jared, we're bringing you back in 2 minutes. Hang tight, guys.
All right, let's get it. We got the fit tip for today. All right. Do you help or harm your goals when no one is watching? So in other words, when the personal trainer isn't around or your accountability partner or your workout partners aren't around, are you still giving the same intensity? Are you still going hard? All right. These mentors can guide you. Accountability partners can check in, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to do the work. So if you don't get the results, it's your fault. It's in your hands whether you're going to look in the mirror and say, I did what I said I would, or I wasted another day again. So no one else can feel your success or your failure like you can, right? So at the end of the day, you know if you're BSing, you know if you're giving 110%, and you know if you're half-assing. Support systems help, but they can't carry you. Motivation, discipline, all that has to come within. That's up to you, because you're not going to wake up every day and feel super motivated, right? And it's up to you to teach yourself to get disciplined. So you have to show up for yourself, especially when no one is watching. True growth happens when you take responsibility. So don't blame your wife, your husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, kids. It's all on you. Not because someone else is checking, but because you refuse to let yourself down. That's the fitness tip for today.
There we go. The fit tip of the day. We drop it every single day. Excuse me, around the 30-minute mark of the show. Today, running a couple of minutes behind because we're having some great conversation with our guest here, Jared Gleaton, who joins us. Jared Gleaton Eats. The guy lost 176 pounds on his journey through life. I love these stories, guys, because they're just nothing but motivating, and they inspire folks who are like, wow, if that guy can do it, this guy can do it, anybody can do it. We all got to go on our journey. But let's keep the conversation going on the psychology of weight loss. The UCLA Health reported, guys, that 80% of people who lose weight regain it within a year, with psychological factors playing a significant role. Jared, how did your mindset evolve during your 176-pound weight loss journey? And before I throw the question to you, what mental barriers did you have to overcome? And, you know, John and I talk about it often. I was husky kid. John was husky, fat kid. We both talk about looking into our own mirrors going, we don't want to see that fat kid anymore. So we do everything in our power to not bring that fat kid out, that husky kid out. It's a mental mind for me, but I do it every single day as I live my loop. Jared, what mental barriers do you overcome on a day-to-day basis so you don't put the weight back on your body that you took off your body? Jared Gleaton.
Well, it's a great question. First off, you just answered pretty much the vicious cycle. It's a loop. We are pattern-seeking individuals. We get into a pattern and we feel comfortable. And it goes in every aspect of our life. And you actually trap yourself by putting yourself in the box because you've been helped along from an early age to follow these patterns. It's no mistake that you like certain foods. Billions of dollars went into it from an early age to catch your eye, put it on your tongue, for your tongue to tell your brain this is wonderful. And it doesn't change over 30 years until you recognize what is happening. And so the first barrier is being more aware of yourself and more aware of why are you eating? Are you eating for stress? Are you eating for happiness? Are you eating for anxiety? Or are you eating because you fell into a pattern of a bunch of people telling you this is what you like, or from your early childhood? This is the first step, because you cannot fix a problem until you identify that what is the underlying thing that's there for the food. For me is I was never given any restrictions growing up. I had access to everything and anything I wanted at any portion I wanted. And that is going to put on the calories super quick. And so that's the first step. If you identify what the underlying condition is, you can come up with a plan to address that. Even if you're depressed, write down why you're depressed. You know, if not everybody necessarily has access to a therapist or friends that will understand, but write down why you're depressed. After you write down why you're depressed, the top 3 things that make you depressed, you could come up with 3 strategies for each thing to overcome that depression on your own, and then focus on, we don't need to make eating be one of the things to address it.
Yeah. Johnny.
Oh man, I got to tell you, brother, you know, I'm straight as an arrow, so don't take this the wrong way, but I love you, brother. You know, I mean, you're dropping some gems there. I'm telling you right now, people tend to not understand that, you know, their poor eating habits is usually a symptom of something that's down deep. And I love the fact that you just uncovered that. And I even love the fact even more that you're a crusader for people that want to gain control of their lives, and just the way that you're positioning yourself and breaking it down simple, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, man. This is good stuff.
And John, I want to say that my methodology, there's a flip side to that. I worked out 90 minutes a day cardio and about 25 minutes a day lifting during this, and I continue this day. But when I say 25 minutes a day lifting, how many people say they've lifted for an hour? How much of that actual hour time are they physically going through the lift? Yeah. I measure my lifts and my bands and bar and everything by seconds, not repetitions.
There we go. I mean, it's good stuff, brother. I love, and I think the thing that I'm loving the most is, you know, you're, like I said, you're a crusader. You're leading a community of people that need to, they're trying to understand. And you're saying, hey, I did it. Come in here. Let me show you how I did it, and I can show you how to do it too. And we need more people like you, brother. So keep this shit up.
And you just said it right there. It's a mindset. Most diets fail. Remember the Slim Fast diet? Does everybody remember the Slim Fast diet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was highly successful. Why? It's no different than right now Ozempic. It's because you drink 3 cans of Slim Fast. That controls the calories you're taking in, and through just the science of it, the formula, you're probably going to lose weight because 2,000 calorie diet. But you're not making any changes. You're relying on this drink to control the calories that you're taking in. You're relying on Ozempic to slow the digestion. You're relying it on to suppress the appetite. But when you get off of it without making those meaningful changes, you're just going to go right back to eating because you have no idea how many calories are in this. And let me give you the basic sample. And you guys know this. A person, if they're 200 pounds and they run for 30 minutes, they might burn 200 to 250 calories. I'm just saying if they go 3.5 miles an hour, because HIIT matters. Getting it up matters. Getting the intensity up matters. Well, one Snickers bar is 250 calories, and I guarantee you it's going to take you a lot quicker to eat that than running for 30 minutes or jogging. and that's the sad, ugly truth, that maybe cut that Snickers bar in half.
Yeah,
no, absolutely. And I wanted to add one thing too. You talked about the Slim Fast drinks and Ozempic, and it's like people get on this stuff and now they're disciplined all of a sudden, when discipline was their issue. When they can do it, the way me, you, and John are preaching, they can have discipline and do it the natural way. But they see the shortcut, and now all of a sudden they know how to be disciplined, right? You know how to keep taking the Ozempic. If your doctor tells you to work out or eat a certain way on Ozempic, now they know how to do it. Now, the Slim Fast, now you know how to control your calories. So, can you talk about the psychological, barriers that might keep people from discipline doing it the natural way, opposed to, doing it the shortcut or the cheat code way?
Oh, well, the shortcut and the cheat code way is the path of least resistance. That we are a society of now, results now. And if you don't eat the calories, you're not going to put on the fat, or you're not going to, and you're like you said, you're going to lose muscle. You're going to lose the weight, good and bad. And that is really quick and easy, but you're not training yourself really to satisfy the cravings, because if you have something that in the brain releases chemicals that tells you you're not hungry, well, when that is removed, you're going to be hungry again. You're going to go back up to portion control because you haven't worked on the underlying issue to begin with. You've just found a quick and easy solution that will get you results. But when that quick and easy solution is removed, the underlying condition to why you eat and how much you eat has not changed, because you haven't identified why you ate that much to begin with, or have any concept of how many calories you're putting in your body. If you sit there and measure out an ounce of even your favorite nuts, like let's just talk about, you were talking about nuts earlier. Let's bring it full circle. I love nuts, but if you sit there and
that's all right, brother. I love nuts too, so I'm with you. Don't worry, I'm right with you. I'm sitting right next to you. I love nuts too, brother.
And like you say, if you eat, let's just say you eat a handful of pistachios, 6 ounces of pistachios, that's getting real close to 1,000 calories in 6 ounces. It's moderation, control. We don't have any concept of how many calories is in an ounce and how small an ounce is. And if we can understand these things in these systems and then apply it to ourselves, sky's the limit again. The only person that stops us from attaining success is the fear of the unknown.
Mary Manifesting comes in with a comment on the horizontal feed, and I can completely resonate to this because she says, I was restricted as a kid and was super skinny. Well, Marty, we joke, I was given a Kit Kat at 6 months old. No, Johnny, I wasn't given the tit. I was given the Kit Kat. And ever since then, I go from chasing that Kit. Exactly, Johnny. I chased the Kit Kat to chasing the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. The reality is, I was not only restricted, but I was also encouraged. Finish what's on your plate, Johnny.
Yeah.
Finish what's on your plate. Finish. I was of that era, Marty, where it's like, finish what's on your plate. And I can tell you, I love mom and dad. Mom and dad, I love you. I know they're not listening right now because they're still sleeping. But dad, if you're listening right now, I love you guys. But my eating habits were f***ed up, guys, because of how I was raised. And I know a lot of people tuning into the show have those same challenges, right? Which is either because they were restricted, and then when they removed those restrictions, they went off the deep end and ate whatever they can eat, or they were taught to eat, and didn't have any boundaries on there, right? So we got some more comments coming in on the feed here. We got Real Deal popping in with, yes, time under tension is how we got to do it, of course. And then Real Deal talks about doing what's best takes longer to achieve. Johnny, we're going to come with the fit tip. With the lifestyle tip here in a quick second if you're ready for it. I have a better tune for you here coming up as well today. And then I got something else here in the horizontal stream here as well. We got some folks tuning in here. Marty, we got D Wees coming in here as well. We got Team Truck joining in here as well. Jason Buckle is joining us as well. Nation, love you guys joining us in the morning show, 8 o'clock Eastern time, mornings in the lab. Like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. We drop every single day to help you guys get going and get your asses out of bed is what we do here. So, John, let's do this. Let's do the lifestyle tip, and then we're going to come back and keep the conversation going. Then we're going to come back, celebrate creator, and keep the dialogue happening around how Jared lost 176 pounds, how you too can lose 176 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever you want to lose. But we're going to keep this conversation going with Jared Gleaton, myself, Keith Bilous, C. Marty Fit, John Anderson, and producer Flynn. But right now we are going to do this. Johnny, I got some ready for you, buddy. Check this out. Let's try this. Oh, I'm going to do.
What do we got, baby?
Yeah. I got to get it ready here. I think it's here. How about this?
It's almost impossible not to be an upgrade.
Ooh, it builds up for you. Check that out.
I can live. I already off to a better start than the last button.
Yeah, that last button was terrible.
All right, this is building up for you, pal. Okay, I got this one, and I got two for you this morning. Or this one. There you go. All right, we got the lifestyle tip with John Anderson. It's his entry music to the stage. He's going to give you guys.
Yeah, that's his wrestling music.
All right, let's do this. All right, so today's lifestyle tip is in honor of our guest. Once I heard what he did, it was like, bam, this thing just hit me like a ton of bricks. So here's the deal. When I say this, hear me out. Don't wait for a tragedy in your life to choose to make a change. And what I mean by that is this. You can basically wait for a tragedy, like Jared had a tragedy, his dad passed, and boom, that prompted him to make a change. But the question you got to ask yourself is, do you need to have a loved one pass? Do you need to lose your job? Do you need to have something tragic in your life for you to make a choice to make a change? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Now, the flip side of this coin, and this is a good one because a lot of times, this stuff happens and we don't see it coming. Do not let a good tragedy go to waste. Because when something tragic happens, that thing in our stomach, you can't eat, you can't sleep, it's a motor. Attach that motor to something positive and get something out of your tragedy. So, fit tip is this: don't wait for a tragedy to make a change. And if you do have a tragedy land in your lap, use it for something positive in your life.
Single day around this time with John Anderson, giving you something to think about, giving you something to get your day going, give you some motivation, some power to rock and roll forward. All right, joining us here with Jared Gleaton, hanging out, talking 176-pound weight loss. We got some comments coming from the feed here. Lawrence chiming in, but children need to be taught how to eat, listening to their bodies, understanding what makes them feel good, et cetera, and empowering our children. I know that I know Lauren does an exceptional job empowering the kids here in the house. It's like, hey, here's the broccoli. Here's the broccoli. Here's the broccoli. Oh, yeah, by the way, there's a chocolate bar over there, but you got to go up and walk to get that chocolate bar. Here's the broccoli, right? So it's all about giving and empowering our kids. And Fit Presenter comes in with, don't let a good tragedy go to waste. It's so true, isn't it, Mike? Very, very true, my friend. Absolutely. And Good Town. Oh, Good Town. You lost 50 pounds. That's awesome, man. We didn't know that. And thank you for sharing that with us. Exceptional. That's awesome. So, Jared, John Anderson, our friend John Anderson, is a massive fan of habit stacking. And I know something that I've learned here in the lab as we've been doing the show together is, erasing words from our vocabulary. And I got a mission right now. I said to Marta last week, let's erase the word days. and months and years from the vocabulary. And let's start teaching our audience about the idea of the loop, stacking habits within that 24-hour loop. If we can live the life of a loop, we more than likely can be consistent and embrace those habits that we're going to, bring into that loop. So Jared, 66 days to form a new habit that becomes automatic. What were the key habits that you developed, Jared Gleaton, during your weight loss journey that contributed to your success? And the second part to that question is, people are like, I got to do 10 things today. No, just do one thing first and then do another thing tomorrow. Jared, lean into habit stacking and how you embraced repetitive habits in the loop to be successful today. Jared Gleaton.
Well, you all touched on this a little bit earlier. I actually have a Life Fitness art trainer, and I have it in my home. And the reason I have it in my home is I want efficiency. I want to be able to work out. There's no excuse for me to leave my home now. I have weights, I have bands. So every day, as long as I can do it, when I had COVID, it was very hard to get on there. I will get on that art trainer. I will keep my heart rate for about 90 minutes. I want it between 140 and 160. And I will then afterwards lift each and every day a different muscle area. And so the first habit is getting into the habit of exercising, even if I don't want to, because it feels good. And after a while, after about 60 days, if I missed a day, even if I was sick, like when I had COVID and I was sick as a dog, a little part of me in the back of my mind said, I don't feel good because I didn't work out. There was a little bit of weird anxiety that formed from not working out. And I wanted to make sure that I always treated my body to a workout. That's the first thing. The second thing is I understood and started to eat fewer calories naturally, even when it's on a life diet, so to speak. Instead of having this big old cookie, I cut the cookie in half. I also learned the value of eating fruits and vegetables and lean meats. Yeah, sure, I can have that steak, but if I want that big juicy steak, I'm going to have to cut out some other calories during the day in other areas. Maybe I don't have that whole brownie. Maybe I just need to make sure, like you said, to have those macronutrients to treat your body well, especially if you're going to have anything in that day that does not treat your body particularly well. So that was key.
Talk about the power of macronutrients and micronutrients. We don't talk about them enough, at least on this show, John. I want to spend more time on our shows coming up about macro and micronutrients. But Jared, talk about the power of macronutrients. More importantly, talk about the power of the micronutrients during your journey.
Well, the macro, and please keep in mind that I'm not a certified dietitian. The macro, from my understanding, is fats, carbohydrates, and what's the last one? Is it
protein?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right on the money, brother.
Yes, and so your body needs X amount. And the one thing I want to say about a calorie deficit, your body needs calories to function, period. So keep that in mind, that if you want to take out some sort of calories, if you want to cut by calories by 500, if you want to do my method along with exercise, you need to consult your doctor, because if you sit there and say, well, I'm only going to eat 1,000 calories, that's not necessarily going to be healthy unless you do it a certain way through the macro and micronutrients. And so then it becomes, what on those broad categories, protein, carbohydrates, and fats, what are you eating? Because each one of those things, whole wheat bread is carbohydrates. Processed white bread is carbohydrates too, but two of them serve completely different purposes, and your body processes them differently. One is a healthier option, and that's where you get into the micro, and one is not so much of a healthy option. So there's good fats and there's bad fats. If you sit there and eat, your fat is all butter or all red meat tallow, it's going to be a problem for your heart. It's going to be a problem for your arteries. But if you have chicken, if you have certain nuts, like from a tree.
Yes.
Then I fell into that last time. It's going to make a considerable amount of difference. And but I always tell people this: you have to start and meet where you're at. So if you understand that carbs are energy, and you can start by restricting the carbs to an extent, but then transition from the bad carbs to the good carbs, so you can feel better during your workout, after your workout, and you can recover quicker as soon as you start countering those micronutrients. But the first thing is first, get to the macro. Once you understand the macro, then move on to the micro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that. And one thing I wanted to just kind of uncover for our listeners here, we've heard the word calories a lot. And just so everybody kind of understands, a calorie is a measurement. but it doesn't explain what the measurement is. It doesn't explain if that measurement actually brings value to the body. So I love this little example that I explained. So think of a calorie. So think of food as it's almost like we've got to look at food at what matters to the body. Almost like you can compare that to, say, a car that you want to commute to work with, right? So the calorie is saying you got a car to commute to work. The macro is saying you have a minivan, a 4x4, or sports car. That's the macro, because that's protein, fat, carbohydrate. Now, what the engine and the transmission is, that's the micro. So if you got a car that you're trying to commute to work, doesn't have a motor and transmission, you don't really give two shits about that car. And that's the thing you got to understand. The body cares about the motor and transmission. It doesn't really care what the car looks like. Doesn't care what kind of car it is. So you got to really think from the standpoint of calorie is a very vague term. It does not help you understand if there's any value to the body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead, Jared.
Can I expand on that? Because I love that analogy. May I take a different approach with that analogy and let me know your thoughts? Is that okay, sir?
Absolutely, brother.
The body is a car. The calorie is a form of energy that your car needs to function. And so the macro is gasoline. The micro is what is the style of gasoline you're putting in. Are you putting in high test? Are you putting in with ethanol? Or are you putting in with a mixture of what have you? So the high test, the good macro, the 89 or the 93 that we pay a lot of money for, has the good combination of calories with food and micro to make that car function at optimal. The micro at the ethanol has a poor combination of the calories of the energy that go into the car. What are your thoughts on that?
It's definitely, from helping people understand. That's another great way to explain it. I think here's the thing. I to come from another angle with that. Yeah. You could have two foods you could have a micro nutrient dense food that's lower in calories, and the body is going to be far happier to use that.
Yes,
and it's going to do more good with it. So I guess all I'm really referencing is that people need to be careful with just counting calories, because they're counting something that doesn't basically have a registry of how important it is to the body. Like you can have the same amount of calories. Say you have like you said, the fats. You have an essential fat and you have a shitty fat. The body registers those two very differently. And so you really got to don't think about the calorie, think about what's in the calorie. Or going back to my original example, is there a motor and a transmission in your calorie?
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that. That just made me think of like the Weight Watchers method.
Mm-hmm. There's no motors in those calories.
Exactly. So if you want to build a physique or you want to function optimally, you can't just look at calories. You do need quality food, and you need to prioritize nutrients. So I wanted to add that in there.
This is not a shot to you, Jared, whatsoever. It's just basically helping our listeners understand the calorie.
What and if you do, when you're counting calories, if I sit there and all I eat all day long is one stick of butter, I'm going to lose weight. If all I eat is one stick of butter, it is going to do hell on my body and my health, and I'm going to feel horrible, and I'm going to live less because I'm not getting anything else than pure fat that is not good for you at all. And so it does matter what you put in your body during this process does matter considerably. And I had to learn that through the trial and repetition, because at first it was just calorie restriction. Then I felt, 1,500 calories, and I'm eating this thing that goes through my system, that burns through my system. I needed things that contributed to my energy, contributed to my feeling good, fruits and vegetables and lean protein. Because if I sat there and just ate, all right, I'm going to go to McDonald's. It's only 1,700 calories. I'll do a diet soda. I'm going to enjoy the fries. I'm going to enjoy the Big Mac. That's only 1,700 calories. That's what I eat all day long. Your body's going to process through that real quick, and then it's going to be starving later because it's not digesting anything but fat.
It's just going to straight up crap it out because there's nothing usable in there.
Yep. Yes. And so these are things that I learned on this journey that were so important. At first, I didn't understand the micro. Once I understood the macro, then I could focus on the micro, and slowly through experience, I was able to do that, because this is, again, goes back to the psychology of it. If you're not ready to learn, then you're not going to absorb information. And so, a lot of times humans learn through their trial and error. But where the key is whenever you hit the error, overcoming that error and learning, it's an opportunity to learn something new instead of a failure. We learn from our failures. We rarely learn from our successes. Sometimes success hinders us because we think because we had success, this way must work or be the most successful way, when in reality, like you said, there's more than one ways to skin a cat. And there's even through other people's successes you can learn.
Yes.
Hey,
I'm sorry, Keith. I have one more quick thing for listeners that are going, this sounds great. How the hell do I find micronutrient dense foods? This is a great conversation, but where do I start? Well, let me tell you where you start. You start on the outside of the grocery store.
Yep.
The whole real foods is where the micros live. Micronutrients do not live in food that's in a box. So if you look at your shopping cart and it's full of boxes, you don't know how many micros in there. When you think about I talk about single ingredient foods. It's a big step, but if you can deal with single ingredient foods, that's going to be your easiest way to find the most high quality micronutrient dense foods.
I love this conversation happening right now because I can relate to Jared, Johnny, and Marty. I was a guy who wanted to lose weight for a long time. Lost weight. Learned the whole calorie thing in my journey. But what I didn't really understand, Johnny, and I've talked to you many times as growing up, being same age as you, is I wanted to have a physique more like John Anderson, more ripped, more jacked, more lean. But to me, I was embarrassed to go to my trainer and say I wanted an aesthetic like that. And I used the wrong language often. It was always, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I always wanted to lose weight. I had to learn during my journey, Nation, that it wasn't weight that I wanted to lose. It was a body composition that I desired.
Mm-hmm.
Once I learned how to lose weight, I learned the power of macronutrients and I learned the power of micronutrients. I learned that when John said, okay, Keith, here's the food you're eating, we didn't focus too much on the calories. We focused more on the makeup of what the food that I was eating. Okay, Keith, you're going to have your 180 grams of protein, times that by 4, there's your 4, times there's your 800 calories. We're not talking calories, Obese. I want you to hit your 1 pound per protein per body weight. Okay, great. And then I want to hit your fats. Okay, great. And then I want you to have a little bit of carbohydrates to give you some energy. Then we're going to see how your body's going to react. I'm doing pretty good, ain't I, John, right now, right? And
Absolutely.
Then you're going to have your micronutrients and make sure you're getting all the magnesium, the zincs, all the minerals in your body to make sure that the macros are popping. And then I'm going to watch your body. And then we're going to take some calipers and watch the body fat come off your body. So I'm losing weight, but I'm actually not losing weight. I'm losing body fat. And I share that with you guys because I wanted to share with you my journey. I've been down the journey as Jared. I haven't lost 176 pounds, but when I met Lauren, I was 200 and I was a big boy. Yeah, I lost.
You were over 200 pounds.
200 and what?
You were a little porky, weren't you?
Oh yeah, Johnny, I was as I was going through Divorce Nation and as I was going through my journey life, I was clicking 230, 235.
Oh, mercy.
7. Yeah. So
John, he was like Paul Blart.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, totally. I was totally
60 pounds, man. That's good stuff, brother.
Yeah. So I lost weight, but I also lost muscle mass. And I didn't like that part. So I discovered my friend AJ Zeglin, who you guys met.
Yep.
I discovered Focus Fitness. I learned about macronutrients and micronutrients through Lane Norton and some of the protein stuff. I started reading and educating myself, educate. And then I went and built muscle mass and I went and changed my physique to focus less on losing weight and focusing more on carrying whatever it was, 8 to 10 to 12 to 15% body fat. That was more of my ambition, right? Instead of focusing on the number on my scale. So, and this is not about judgment. This is about just different journeys to the top of the mountain. Right? There's different ways to get there. And once we get there, we say, okay, that's a good journey. I'm going to try a different one now. So again, we start with the applaud of how we got here. Jared had a tragedy in his life. He's like, holy shit, I got to sort stuff out. To do that, I'm going to go lose a human being. And he lost 176 pounds. And for somebody who, to put the weight on, you had to put a lot of food in his body. Jared is a guy who talks about food and how You know, it was part of how he lost his weight loss as well. So we're hanging out with Jared Gleaton, John Anderson, Keith Bilous, C. Marty Fit. I invite you to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends. We tune in every single day. Our purpose to help you guys get going every single day. Jared, you good so far, pal?
Oh, wonderful.
You having fun?
Oh, yeah.
I know when you reached out to Marty, you're like, I don't know what the hell I'm getting into, but we're glad to have you here this morning, and this is what we're all about here on our show.
Oh no, I'm enjoying it. I love the conversation because I look at it like this. I'm learning from you all, from your different methodologies and things that I could possibly incorporate for what I'm doing, because I lost this weight 5 or 6 years ago and I've kept it off.
That's awesome.
That doesn't necessarily mean that every day isn't a struggle, or every day you have to make a conscientious effort not to go overboard. You have to continue to always work on self-improvement. Every day is a new opportunity to learn something new and grow.
Yeah.
And food is so important to me. During my time losing weight, I really expanded and discovered flavor palettes and profiles and learned about food and the deliciousness. And I have not had to completely take off all the red delights and vices that I love, because again, it goes back to just like that other viewer said. If you deny somebody something all their life and they have access to it, you're going to go off the deep end and it's harder to come back.
Yes.
So if I sit there and say, you cannot have this, I'm naturally going to say, I'll tell you otherwise. I decide what I have, but that in lies the key. You do get to decide what you eat. You get to decide how much, you get to decide if you like it, and you get to decide if you don't like it. And that's the beauty, where I've sort of tried to expand the mind and realize that I can like anything. I can like nothing. But the more open I am, the more I get to an opportunity to learn. That's it.
Marty?
I was going to say, man, we went off there, but I was going to say, you don't have to necessarily, and first of all, I respect you, Jared, for listening to me and John. It's something different and taking what you need from that, because a lot of people they don't have the skill where they can hear something that they don't totally agree with, but they can still take something from it that's valuable. A lot of people they can't do that. So I wanted to throw that in there, that like I respect that from you.
Yes. Well, you know, Marty, here's what I can see, and here's what I suspect's happening right now, because I have been, anybody tuning into the show and Jared, by what he's accomplished, I believe already thinks this way. Jared's on the show with us today, taking all this in. He's on his journey. He's accomplished some pretty damn awesome goals in his life. He's going to take off the show. He's going to start leaning into some of the things that he heard from John and Marty and start thinking about some of those things. He's going to go research a little bit more of them, and he's going to continue his journey. And what I do know, he's not going to go backwards. He's only going to get better. And that's what's so awesome about this, right? Is that, and I think that's the power of this show and the power of this conversation. There's so many ways to achieve a goal. Jared already achieved a massive one. But it's not over with, right? It's not about winning the cup. It's about the journey along the way. And Jared's like, okay, I learned some things from these guys, so I'm going to go do some research myself. I guarantee you guys, when we have Jared back on the show in 6 months from now or a year from now, he's gonna be even, I don't want to use the word better because that's suggesting he's not good now, but his journey is going to continue. And that to me is what's awesome about this fitness journey. Hey, Marty, is that you just keep learning. Johnny.
100%, and I'll be, you can put the term better on me anytime, because if I'm not better today than I was yesterday, I'm pissed.
Yes.
Well, if you put the term better, or if you have the mindset that I'm the penultimate, there's only one place for you to go.
Yeah.
And that's the ugly truth is, it doesn't matter who you are, or if you're at the top of your game, maybe only 0.01% of people get to the penultimate and stay at the penultimate. But ultimately, there's only one in penultimate, and that is time.
Yes.
Time is undefeated. So if you sit there and say, I am at the peak of where I have, then you're shutting your mind off to the possibilities of growth and more. And I don't mind when somebody says, I'm good, I can do better, and tomorrow I can do even better, and tomorrow I can do even better. And also, here's the key. If I have a hiccup and take a step back, that's okay, because I can learn from that. And tomorrow I can make a mistake. A lot of people, when they diet, they go off the deep end, they do a cheat day, or they eat and they're like, oh, well, you know what? I failed at it. Well, no, you had a moment of weakness. We're human. That is okay. Mm-hmm. Let's start again tomorrow, and it's going to be okay.
So you know what's great though? So hold on a second, Marty. You use two words that we're working hard to get rid of in the lab here.
I'm sorry.
No. It's good though, because the only way we can get rid of words is by using them. But we're going to try to get word of the word day and use the word loop. And we're going to try to get word of the word cheat and use habit. Right. So if we can start teaching our folks habits and habit stacking in the loop, then really you're just going to successfully have a continuum till life until you finally kind of go, okay, it's time to be over. And what I like about that thought process is that there's never end to it. That's what John's taught me, right? There's never an end to it. There's never an end to the week. It's just a continual loop, right? So habit stack, loop, habit stack, loop. Marty, you're going to say something, pal?
I got you, Marty. I'm ready. I'm cocked and ready, brother.
Go ahead, Johnny.
So one of the things I love Jared said a minute ago, you make a mistake, tomorrow's a better day. Listen, we all make mistakes. Let it roll off your back. Here's the deal. We make a mistake, we learn, we get better. If we don't make a mistake, we still get better. So no matter what happens, it's good. We need to welcome our mistakes because it gives us the ability to learn, and we learn how not to do that again. And getting all bent out of shape is what happens. People make a mistake and then they slide off the edge. Don't take that mistake. The biggest mistake that you can make is making a second mistake because you made the first one. Stop the bleeding. It's okay. We're human. We all mess up. Let it roll off your back, learn, and keep moving forward.
Yes. Marty.
I got it now. So I was going to say, I forgot what Jared mentioned, but I was going to say people also try to jump into like 75 hard, and you can't even do 3 days in a row of eating clean and going to the gym. You know what I mean? So first focus on winning the day, start small, and then maybe focus on winning 3 days or focus on winning the week before you just jump into something like 75 days, because they'll get to like day 10 and then they just indulge on everything, give up alcohol, fried food, snacks, because they haven't developed the discipline for the short term yet. So start small before you just jump into something crazy like that.
And Marty, I got to expand off that a little bit. One, it's like what you think of a war, right? In a war, there are many battles within the war, right? So when you win your daily battle or you win your 24-hour loop, you're going to win the war of life. So every 24-hour loop is a battle. And if you win that battle, you're going to win the war of life.
All right. We are working towards the last segment of the show here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith Bilous, C. Marty Fit, John Anderson, and our guest today here, Jared Gleaton. Jared Gleaton Eats. We are a number of minutes late for our creator spotlight. So Jimmy, I'm teasing you to get that set up here. We're going to roll it up here in less than a minute. But before we do that, John, Marty, I want to just kind of look to you guys for a quick second here. I was saying to Lauren on the weekend, man, it's funny to me how society, and actually John, more to you because we're the same age here. You notice how the fitness industry is back on it's all about strength, right? So back when you and I were growing up, it was strength, and we went to the cardio phase, and it was like all these gyms were buying cardio equipment left and right, and you'd go into a gym, there'd be more cardio equipment than anything. And now Gen Z and the nation and the demographics below us are discovering the value, John, in what? Strength. The value in being strong, the value in being able to, Marty, carry our grandchildren when we go tobogganing with them or trekking with them or 70 or 80. But here's what makes me laugh. I got to just say this as just a 50-year-old man. Duh. Like, honest to God. Oh, no, whoever said doing push-ups was going to be bad when you were 80? That's one thing I just never could wrap my head around, Johnny, as society was going on with science. Like, oh yeah, so who's going to think Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be bad for being a strong motherfucker his whole life? No, like, come on, people, be strong. Like, I laugh when people are like, oh yeah, it's all about strength. Well, yeah, duh, Johnny.
Well, here's the thing, especially we're in our 50s, Keith, we continue to work on being strong. We carry that forward in our life. And unfortunately, we're surrounded by it's this massive amount of elderlies at this point have yo-yo dieted so much that every time you lose weight, you lose muscle and fat, of course.
Yes.
But then you gain it back. You're not gaining all that muscle back. You're gaining back fat. Every time you yo-yo, you get fatter.
Yes.
And so you yo-yo 10 times in your life, and all of a sudden now you're 75 and you've burned up so much of your muscle tissue by yo-yo, you can't go up steps or you can't get off the toilet. So we're dealing with this massive amount of elderlies who have this huge issue of not being strong enough to stay independent. Well, this is where the value of lifting weights comes in, because keeping your strength as you grow older is going to give you a much better quality of life.
That's it. And boys, Lauren comes in with a comment here, and I don't think she knows anything we talked about at the beginning of the show here, boys. But Lauren's like, love that hit is not in the headlines. It's the all and be all.
Man.
It has its place, but strength is where it's at for longevity. But John and Marty, Keith was practicing hit this weekend there, boys. So, hey, everybody was all happy for that.
Oh, God.
And I think you all hit on something, though, the ebb and flow of exercise. As we start to learn more and know more and understand trends, one thing might be considered the best or valid for this time. It might go through different changes. Like, for example, like you said, cardio, then strength, then, or before the sport, cardio, hit was all the rage. Strength, being open and receptive to new information, and we have it, allows us to accept change and work on just different methodologies for different people.
Yes. Here's what I love though but I'd like to just say common sense. And Jimmy, we're going to go to the creator spotlight here in a moment, because I think John's going to be moving around here very shortly here. So what I love about strength and just back to just common sense is that in order for me to walk or crawl, I need to be strong. And then, I know the heart's important. I know cardio is important and all that, and brain, everything's important, but it has to start with your ability to crawl, right? And if and to crawl, we have to have strength. The oldest adage is, what's the first thing you do as a baby? You crawl. Well, when I'm 80 or 90, I want to be able to crawl. And that's my goal. And if I'm going to crawl, I got to be strong to do that. I got to be able to do a push-up. So I got to have my protein. I got to have my single ingredient foods. It's as much as we can go around the cursory, Gulls goes back to basics, which I love, is we're going back to basics. And yes, science always plugs the holes in and reinforces everything, but it comes back to the basis. To crawl, to stand up, to touch our toes, boys, we need to have some strength. All right.
Well, real quick, can I add to that just as kind of a funny little side note? So correct, brother. You gotta crawl, but the first thing you do when you come out is you sell for that nipple so you can get your nutrients, so you can actually have the nutrients you need to start building that strength. Go get that nipple, not the Kit Kat, everyone.
Let's just get the nipple, not the Kit Kat. That's exactly it. All right. So listen, we are going to wrap up. We're going to do this, Jimmy. We're going to go to the Creator Spotlight. Very late, Christina Flynn. We're going to do the Creator Spotlight, and then we are going to come up and wrap up the conversation around Jared's weight loss, the psychological benefits, et cetera, and then say goodbye and come back tomorrow for tomorrow's show. So let's do this. Let's go over to the Creator Spotlight. So Jared Gleaton, every single time around the 55-minute mark on the show, but today we're having such a great chat, we didn't get there, but every single day around the 55-minute mark, we like to take somebody on LinkedIn and look at the work that they're doing and say, holy smokes, that person's doing exceptional work. And then we take our big old Mornings in the Lab light that we old jack up every single morning and crank it up, and we shine it on this human being. And we say, boom, you're doing awesome work. And then we create content for them and celebrate them. And most of the time, Jared, they have no idea, which is awesome, because they wake up to the celebration on LinkedIn where Marty and Bilous and John are like, hey, good job, man. So we all excite these people. So today's Creator Spotlight, who I love doing this every single day for Mornings in the Lab on Monday, is somebody who has growing the world's biggest brands on YouTube, 8 billion organic YouTube views per year. He's a consultant for major creators, worked with top YouTubers like Mr. Beast, Ryan, Trahan, and Jesser, helping generate over 700 million views per month. He runs a YouTube growth agency and a cohort-based accelerator for full-time creators, specializes in pre-production, emphasizing video ideas, titles, and thumbnails, educational initiatives, launched YouTube Jobs to help creators find opportunities in the creator economy. He has high demand for services, a wait list for over 5,000, Marty, 5,000 creators wanting to work with this guy. Today, our Creator Spotlight Mornings in the Lab is Patty Galloway, growing the world's biggest brands on YouTube. Came across Patty while watched an interview that Patty did on Jay Close's Creator Science. He was just brilliant. He dropped knowledge bombs left and right, Johnny Anderson. He was just dropping them like they were just balloons falling from the sky. His insights, Marty, His insights led to some of the most successful content strategies on YouTube, and he shares all of it. Shares all of his content. Just the guy here it is, all for free. Just shares it. Obviously, he's got a paid business, but he's all about sharing his content. His work not only boosts individual creators, but also uplifts the entire creator economy. This guy, Paddy Galloway, has influence. He's got a commitment to education through initiatives like YouTube Jobs. Paddy's dedicated to empowering creators with the knowledge and resources they need. If you're a creator looking to grow on YouTube, I would invite you to check out Paddy Galloway's page. 10 years experience working in the creator industry. The guy's got some great content. He's fun. He's engaging. Last month, he posted a thing posting how to grow your YouTube channel from scratch in 12 months. And listen, as we're trying to grow our channel here, it is not easy. A lot of work you got to do to get it in place. Paddy Galloway, we're knocking on his door. And we're hoping, Paddy, that this is one of the ways you're going to come back and knock on our door with us celebrating you at Mornings in the Lab with Keith, C. Marty Fit, John Anderson, producer Christina Flynn, and of course our guest today, Jared Gleaton. Paddy, congratulations, brother. Come on in and celebrate somebody else with us today. Next time in the Creator Spotlight. All right. That's what we do, Jared. That's what we like to do every single day here on the show. Pretty good times, eh?
Oh yeah, this has been great. I feel like this could go on for another hour or two.
Yeah, well, hey, we could, but John's got to go to the bathroom here in a couple minutes, so we're going to wrap it up very, very shortly. So let's work towards wrapping up the show. Marty, I'm going to look at you in the bottom corner, pal. What's one thing you took from the conversation that stands out for you? Obviously, Jared's accomplishments are second to none, but what's one thing that stands out for you that we want to readdress, reiterate, or just celebrate as we wrap up the show today? Marty.
Jared just made it clear that people like me and John know what we're talking about.
Yes, he did.
When you follow the path, you get the results.
Yes,
and it's all about discipline and that mentality. I think those. Oh, and education too. Those are some of the things Jared hit on. I think those are the most important. So, and that's what's holding people back. That's exceptional. John Anderson, some closing comments from you too, as brother.
Yeah, what I'm really big on is the fact that Jared he accomplished what he accomplished, but then he created this community, which obviously people that have a similar story to him feel comfortable stepping into, which then gives them the ability to take that first step. And I love the fact that you're kind of given that you're giving that person that safe place to step so they can actually give this a go, because the first step is almost always the hardest. So, brother, keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. And we got a comment here from Mary manifesting, when I slip, I start over the next meal. And that's well said. We are going to have mistakes. We are going to slip up, right, Jared? Your journey wasn't perfect every single day. But one thing I'm suspecting with you is that when you slipped up, you acknowledged it and you just started again. Right, Jared? We own
the mistake. We own our mistakes. If we are able to own our mistakes, we're able to make better decisions for the future. And so many times people deflect their mistakes or give excuses for their mistakes. There's something to be said about realizing that we're human and it's okay to make mistakes. We're going to do better tomorrow, or we're going to do better the next minute. We're going to understand that there's going to be hitches in that loop, but we get to really and no loop is perfect.
Yes.
Let's just keep looping.
Yes.
Good stuff, brother. Good stuff.
I'm going to bring producer Flynn up here on the stage as well to close some comments up. But Jared, before we do that, closing comments from you, Jared, before we say goodbye.
I just want to say that this is a great opportunity. I learned a lot. Like you said, eating calories can lead to burning calories. Mm-hmm. And these are things that reinforce, that let me make tweaks to my current plan. I really appreciate it because, a lot of times we use food as coping, but food can be so much more than coping. It can be used as a strength to figure out who we are as people. You are what you eat to an extent.
Yes.
And I appreciate the time to speak in there. May I mention my book, if that's okay?
100%. Yes, please do.
Well, I'm also a local food critic, and I'm a school psychologist. So primarily work with students with disabilities. And that's where I blend the field of psychology with food. And my book's on Amazon. There's an audiobook, paperback, ebook, Jared Gleaton, school psychologist, but the book is called Feast for the Senses, The Psychological Art of Eating Well. And it details this journey. It talks about how we can analyze food and discover implicit, explicit, and personal bias that all plays a role in the decisions we make.
This is exceptional. You know, Jared, I've enjoyed our conversation so much today. Like producer Flynn, I think we got to have Jared back again to lean more into the book, lean into the psychological about, food stuff. We talked a lot about weight loss today. Jared, I'd love to have you back to talk about the book. I'd love to have you talk about how you're working with children and so forth. So if we can do that, I think that would be exceptional. But Flinner, what did you take out of today's show, kind of off on the sidelines there, listening in, tuning in? One thing that jumped out for you, Christina Flynn, today?
I think it's just that there is no end. You can have great accomplishments. You can do exactly what Jared did, was lose 176 pounds, and he could have stopped there. He could have said, cool, I did this, look at me. But he's turned that into an opportunity, and I think that's a message for everyone. There is no end. End is when you're dead.
Yep. Very, very true. End is when you're dead. But hey, today it's the end of the show. Monday, Mornings in the Lab, September 2nd. We are just getting started. Listen, Nation, 120 days to go until January 1st, 2025. So if you're not going, get your ass out of bed, get going. No excuses. So
after this.
Exactly. All right, real deal. Good time, Lauren. Everybody tuning into the show today. I appreciate you guys joining in the show today. Marty, Christina, Johnny, what a great show. Fit presenter. Thanks for jumping in today. We appreciate all of you guys. You know where to find us. 8 o'clock Eastern time. Mornings in the Lab. YouTube, X, LinkedIn. We drop here every single day with one purpose only, to get your ass out of bed and not hit the snooze button. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow.